A picture-perfect late October day in Jacksonville, Florida. Temperature at 76 degrees, expected to go up into the 80s throughout the course of the afternoon. Dion Jordan back and active for the Miami Dolphins. He was suspended the first 6 games of the year for multiple violations of the NFL's drug policy, but he was activated to the roster yesterday, and he's out there for kickoff. Miami won the toss. They have deferred to the second half, so Jordan Todman back deep for Jacksonville. 2 of the better kick returners in the league this year in this game. Todman 5th in the NFL, and Jarvis Landry is 2nd in the NFL. Caleb Sturgis was called out by Coach Joe Philbin earlier this week. Struggled on both kickoffs and field goals this year. Just 46% of his kickoffs have gone for touchbacks. And that percentage is going up as Todman takes a knee, and Jacksonville will start at the 20-yard line. Out comes Blake Bortles, 3rd overall pick in the draft this year out of Central Florida, making his 5th career start, 5 touchdowns and 10 interceptions so far this season. That's the most interceptions in the NFL.
And it was truly a horrible performance by Blake Bortles last week, and as we stated in the open, bailed out by great defense and great running game, but he had that empty feeling afterwards when you know you're lucky your team won, you're happy about that, but you know you got to play better.
Denard Robinson starts at running back for the Jaguars, coming off a career-high 127 rush yards a week ago. He gets the ball on first down, and Robinson keeps those legs moving to the 24-yard line for a gain of 4. As we take a look at the Jacksonville starting offense, and up front, Luke Jokel. He'll be tested today at left tackle against this very impressive pass rush from the Miami Dolphins. And as I said, Denard Robinson gets the start, but Toby Gerhart is active today.
127 yards. That's really a coming-out party for Denard Robinson. And hey, as a former quarterback, that's pretty impressive.
Robinson off to the races across midfield, and he is tackled at the Miami 33-yard line. The late flag comes in. That could be a face mask. A 42-yard run for Denard Robinson.
Well, this is a misdirection. They run the reverse, then fake a double reverse. Denard Robinson snaps it off very clean. Great block on the outside, as you see Hearns chasing him down, holding his hand up, and the face mask at the end. That is the kind of explosive play that you don't really usually get out of the run game, but a misdirection, fake double reverse. That's schoolyard stuff there. What a great play for the Jaguars early on.
Jerome Boger is today's referee. And Miami fans know Jed Fish. He was at the U as the offensive coordinator.
There is no foul for a face mask on the play. The runner is ruled to be grabbed inside the chest. First down, Jacksonville.
So no penalty yardage added to the officially 41-yard run. There's Jed Fish. He was the OC at the University of Miami in 2011 and 2012. Very creative mind. And we saw him pretty fired up last week when Jacksonville finally got its first win of the season against the Cleveland Browns. So 1st and 10 for the Jaguars. Bortles to Jordan Todman out of the backfield, and not much doing as we take a look at the Miami defense. And Cameron Wake leads the team with 4.5 sacks so far this season. A change in the middle at linebacker as Jason Trusnick starts for the injured Koa Misi. He is inactive today. And Brent Grimes now in his 8th year at corner.
Brent Grimes, a 5'10 guy, free agent, came over from Atlanta last year. At 5'10, he plays much bigger than that and has made some big plays. Got 1 interception, 6 passes defensed on the year. They're depending on him to be a shutdown.
Lee in motion. The give is to Todman up the middle, and he gets to the 30-yard line. That'll bring up 3rd down. Michael Thomas, first-year player out of Stanford, makes the tackle.
You know, this Jaguars running game, we talked about it earlier, only averaging 70 yards a game coming into last week. Had the big breakout performance for 185, but this Dolphins defense has been equally as impressive against the run. The last 3 opponents have averaged less than 70 yards a game against them. Jaguars already up at 50 yards rushing on the day.
Jacksonville is 27th in the league in converting 3rd downs, just 36% on the year. It's 3rd and 5, and we have a whistle, and a timeout is called for by the Jaguars.
They had to take it. They had an illegal formation on the field. Their right tackle was uncovered on the far side.
So Blake Bortles will make his way to the sideline. Chat with Jedd Fisch. Joe Philbin in his third season with the Dolphins, a record of 18-20 with Miami. Of course, the Green Bay offensive coordinator from 2007 to 2011. On the other sideline is Gus Bradley in his second year. Finally stopped a 9-game losing streak last week and saw some of the emotion in the locker room after that game. Gus was dancing, singing up a storm after the Jaguars.
Yeah, and they took a timeout here, and unfortunately, it's one of the things they were forced to do last week. They took a couple of bad timeouts and got charged a couple of timeouts. As you see there, their third down conversion this season. They got lost a couple of challenges last week that also cost them. So here early again, Jacksonville struggling to save those timeouts.
They like to go to Allen Robinson on third down. He's targeted 33% of the time on third downs. Bortles looking end zone for Robinson, and he doesn't have it incomplete. He nearly brought it in. He was open, and that pass sailed a bit on Bortles.
Well, this was a perfect play call for the timing. The situation was right. Allen Robinson ran a little stutter move on the safety, got behind the free safety there. Bortles is a little bit too high with the pass. That ball was never controlled through the catch. The right call by the officials and a missed opportunity for Blake Bortles and the Jaguars.
So Josh Scobee comes on to attempt a 48-yard field goal. His season long is 49. And the kick is blocked. Picked up by Michael Thomas of the Dolphins. Hurdling over defenders. Thomas out of bounds. And a big play by the Miami special teams unit. They've been criticized by Joe Philbin and the Miami fans, but they make a big play here on fourth down. Scobee's kick is blocked, and we're scoreless in Jacksonville. Olivier Vernon credited with that blocked field goal, so Miami takes over 1st and 10 from their own 42-yard line. Tannehill, the read option, keeps it himself, and he's tackled at the 48-yard line. Let's go back to that blocked field goal. Third time this year that Josh Scobee has had a field goal blocked.
Well, right here, it's a penetration issue by Olivier, and the kick the operation was good. It was off in time, and it didn't look like a low kick. There was huge penetration, and that's been an issue for Jacksonville. The kicker always takes the heat for that, but that's a protection issue. We'll never know if the kick would have been good, but because the protection broke down before that kick got out of there.
Tannehill got 5 yards on first down. It's 2nd and 5. His first pass is reeled in by Hartline. Nice catch by Brian Hartline, but there is a flag down at the line of scrimmage.
That was a nice catch by Hartline with a defender right there, and he plucked that out of it. The ball got in on him very fast.
Illegal formation. Offense. Number 71 does not line up on the line of scrimmage. 5-yard penalty. Replay, 2nd down.
That's on the left tackle, Brandon Albert. Ryan Tannehill in his 3rd year out of Texas A&M. 10 touchdowns and 5 interceptions on the season, but as we already have seen on this drive and throughout the course of the year, he's using his legs a lot, 150 rush yards coming into the game. So following the penalty, it's 2nd down and 10. The give to Miller. Lamar Miller got 2 yards. Take a look at the Miami starting offensive line to get Mike Pouncey at right guard, making the switch from center to right guard since his return from injury. And look for Charles Clay to have a big day today.
Yeah, with Paul Posluszny out of the lineup, the linebacking corps had to shuffle around just behind that outstanding front four of the Jaguars. Look for that. That's always a problem when you've got a good tight end. Your defense has got linebackers who are responsible for that guy, and them being in flux and not knowing exactly the right place to be may end up in some big plays for the Dolphins.
Miami 38% on third downs. It's 3rd and 8, and Tannehill is sacked. Brought down by Ryan Davis. His 3rd sack of the season.
And the key on this play is to have Miami backed up. It was a 3rd and 9 situation. 3rd and long, much more difficult to convert. Obviously, right here, you can see the penetration straight up the field. Just splits the gap between the guard and the tackle. That was Darren College who really got beat up the outside. Nice tackle by Ryan Davis and a good first series for the Jaguars defense.
23rd sack of the season for that Jacksonville defense. That's number 2 in the NFL. Only Buffalo has more. Ace Sanders at his own 10-yard line. And Sanders gets across the 15 to the 16-yard line. 10:07 to go. First quarter, no score between the Dolphins and the Jaguars.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by Southwest Airlines. Book your low fare now at southwest.com. Toyota Care, scheduled maintenance, no cost. And by Bud Light, who reminds fans to stay in the game and drink responsibly.
Been an incredible weekend with the Jacksonville Air Show going on. A crowd of 130,000 yesterday. First quarter, 10:07 to go, and Dion Jordan is out here for Miami. Bill Philbin told us he expects him to play about 20 snaps today, and this is his first game of the season. Toby Gerhart on the carry, and he gets 1 yard on the play.
Well, let's go back and look. We were talking about the opportunity. Here's Allen Robinson. He's going to run a post up here. The inside corner route is going to occupy the front side safety. Robinson gets behind the safety that's trying to come from the backside to cover it. That was an opportunity for a touchdown. It doesn't get much easier than that for a deep throw up the field. I don't know whether it was Robinson misjudging the ball, and Jed Fish had implied to us last week that is the one issue that he's had a little bit of struggle with, or the ball might have been just a little bit deep by Blake Bortles.
Green 80! Green is up!
Bortles, and that pass is incomplete. He was looking for Cecil Shorts. Cortland Finnegan on the coverage.
Bortles told us, and you can understand, he played probably his worst game of the season last week in a victory. Right, yeah. And he felt empty because, the team won, but he felt like he didn't contribute. Not only did he not contribute, he almost cost him the game with 3 interceptions.
3 interceptions that gave the Cleveland Browns great field position, and the defense held them without a touchdown all day, just 2 field goals. So defense and running game really bailed out Blake Bortles last week.
3rd down and 8 for Bortles and the Jaguars. Bortles looking right the entire time, and the pass is caught by Allen Robinson. Said this on the first drive, and he's their go-to guy on 3rd down. It's a gain of 12, and it's a first down for Jacksonville.
Well, he sees the one-on-one coverage. He's going to drop back. See, the Dolphins send 5 guys, which means they're going to be manned up on the outside, and delivers the football out there to Robinson. That's just a nice back shoulder throw. Well executed.
Toby Gerhart running right. And he gets close to the 35-yard line. Gerhart's missed the last 2 games with a foot injury, and during that time he was out. Denard Robinson went off for that huge game last week, so Gerhart was brought here to be the starter, the bell cow for Jacksonville on offense, but he's now lost his starting spot to Denard Robinson.
And that 2.5 yards per carry didn't help his cause. You can blame it on whatever you want to blame it on. It just doesn't happen, and now Denard Robinson is the man.
Gerhart stays in there on 2nd and 6. Bortles to Shorts, has a little bit of room to run. First down, Cecil Shorts into Miami territory and knocked out of bounds. A gain of 26.
Well, this is great job. This is one of the reasons the Jacksonville Jaguars and Blake Bortles have had early success is because of plays like this. This is an easy completion for Bortles. It gives Shorts a chance to get the ball with some room out in front of him and make some plays. Those are great plays for a young quarterback. They give him a completion, they give him confidence, and they give you a big play also.
And it's off the play action, which you don't really have effectively if you're not running the ball well. And by them coming out and establishing the run early, that's helped significantly already.
On first down, Denard Robinson, and he lunges across the 40-yard line for a gain of 6.
Well, that was orchestrated, really. Hurry up and get up to the ball quick. They've seen something in the Miami Dolphins. They believe if they come up and get on the ball quickly before the Dolphins can identify the formation, they can hit them, get them back on their heels and run the ball right up in there at them. That's what it looks like Jed Fish is trying to accomplish.
And now they're going power set. They only have 1 wide receiver on the field. two running backs, three tight ends.
Already 51 yards rushing in this game for Denard Robinson. Play action here. Bortles has plenty of time. Running back to the right and just throws that one away as the pressure eventually came from Earl Mitchell.
Well, he threw that away, you're right, but he couldn't see Denard Robinson standing over. Perhaps it was, it could have been Ace Sanders standing over on the far sidelines. Watch as this play develops. He's going to come all the way back, and watch as Robinson ends up all the way up here by himself. And Bortles he can't see it because of the garbage in front of him, and he throws it out of bounds. If he could have lofted that to Robinson, it would have been another big play.
Instead, it's 3rd down and 4. Bortles, quick slant to Robinson, and another 1st down reception for Allen Robinson.
Well, you called it, Andrew. You talked about how they like to go to Allen Robinson on 3rd down. He's just running a slant route from the left. It'll be from the right-hand side of your screen as you're watching. And Bortles, good quick decision. The coverage by Jamar Taylor just not quite good enough. Allen Robinson just gets across that face and gives Blake Bortles the numbers to throw that football. It's a nice conversion.
10 of Robinson's 13 catches on 3rd downs this year have gone for a 1st down. 1st and 10 from the 34-yard line. 6:20 to go opening quarter. Denard Robinson again, and Vernon snuffs that one out. Olivier Vernon, 3rd-year player out of Miami, and a big impact player on this Dolphin defense.
You talk about this Miami defense. They've really stepped it up in the last few weeks. Vernon with Odrick down inside. And it's one of those things. A lot of it has nothing to do with talent. It has to do with guys having faith in each other. Their run fits have been outstanding the last 3 weeks, but today they've been gassed. We'll see if they have the discipline to hang in there and get it back together against this Jaguar offense.
Bortles doesn't see the pressure coming, and that was a dangerous pass. Nearly intercepted. Pressure from Vernon.
There's big pressure coming off the backside. Vernon just right around Luke Jokel, the 1st-round draft choice from last year. Still pretty much a rookie. He missed most of last season and still learning how to play that speed by Vernon off the edge. Caught him off guard, and they're lucky the Jaguars didn't have a sack fumble on that play.
Yeah, we said it early. Keep an eye on Jokel today. He will be tested. 3rd down and 9 for Jacksonville. Bortles to Shorts, and he is tackled short of a 1st down. Cortland Finnegan made the tackle, and now Josh Scobie is going to come out again to attempt a Jacksonville field goal.
Well, you got to know that Scobie's confidence is shot. Having his first kick of the day blocked back into his face. And you know also that Jacksonville has had a big conversation about the field goal protection unit. They've got to tighten that up. They've had too much leakage. They've got to stop the penetration.
3 blocks in a season is too many.
It's a 46-yard drive for Josh Scobie. This one on the way and good. Scobie drills it with 4:52 to go in the 1st quarter. First points of the day here. The Jaguars take a 3-0 lead. There is a penalty down on the field. Here's Jerome Bogart.
During the kick, holding, offense, number 95. 10-yard penalty, replay, 4th down.
That's going to move them out of field goal range. And these are the 2 top penalty best teams in terms of penalties against in the NFL. Jaguars #1. They're the least penalized team in the league. Right there, a very, very bad time for a penalty, taking points off the board.
It turns it into a 55-yarder. Or thereabouts, and that's a head scratcher. That's up to Gus Bradley. He's going to have to look at Josh Scobie and ask him if he can make it. And I think Scobie's staying out there. They're going to spot this ball just inside 57. Now they can't. There's no way they're going to do it. Now they're going to punt it. I think. Yeah, that's. I think it's right. You got to take the field position, try and pin the Dolphins inside their 10-yard line. 55-yarder is too big a risk.
And the big boys up front overcompensated for they got gashed the first kick and they were trying to protect and they got caught for holding this
Well, and you
time.
can't try the long one because he's got to drive that ball low out of there to get it there. So it might get blocked again.
Scobie was 0 for 2 on field goals of 50-plus yards this year. So Jacksonville decides to punt it away. Fair catch called for by Landry. Timeout on the field. This week, Thursday Night Football moves to NFL Network with an NFC South clash between the Saints and Panthers. Thursday, 8 p.m. Eastern, live on NFL Network. And Drew Brees, look at the interceptions, 7 already on the season for Brees.
And you know what's amazing is we're so spoiled by how well he's played over the years. Consistency. Those interceptions have come at absolutely terrible times for the New Orleans Saints.
So Miami pinned deep after the punt. 1st and 10 from the 9-yard line. Tannehill will throw, and he's sacked for the second time today. Derek Marks, his 3rd sack of the year.
Wow, this guy is like a shot out of a cannon on this play. You can see right here, he just shoots right up the gap. He's got the combination of speed and power, makes a little juke move, and Ryan Tannehill had no chance. Derek Marks, arguably one of the top 3 or 4 interior defensive linemen in the NFL, playing great again.
Well, Darren College got just whiffed on. That's the 2nd sack College has given up. You can bet that the Jaguars are going to start coming right over the left guard of the Dolphins as often as they can.
A 7-yard loss. It's 2nd and 17. Tannehill to the air over the middle, and it's incomplete. Was looking for Hartline, and Gratz got a hand on that one.
Yeah, this was it. They're just trying to get some room for this. Watch, just a play fake right up the gut. Hardline has one read. Tannehill just run read, bring it out. Hardline's got to bring that in. That was right in his hands, high and away from the defender. He had plenty of time to get his hands on it. Even though it was well covered, he wasn't completely covered. You got to make that play in that spot.
Third and 17. Tannehill's pass deflected and then caught, but down at the 8-yard line, and a big stand by this Jacksonville defense. JT Thomas with the tackle.
Well, Ryan Tannehill got very lucky on this one. This is what you fear as a coach. If you throw out of your own end zone a tip ball, you're going to see right there the paw goes up. Not quite sure who that was, but if that ball is not caught at the highest point there, or that very well could be an interception. Derek Marks is the one that got the hand up and deflected that ball.
So Brandon Fields, who's last in the NFL in net punting average, will kick this one from his own end zone. He's Sanders at his own 40. Sanders across midfield, and he's tackled at the 48-yard line. A 50-yard punt, a return of 10. Good starting position for the Jaguars coming up next.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by Kelley Blue Book. Find out what you should pay for your next new car at KBB.com. And by Outback Steakhouse. Outback, no rules, just right.
3:12 to go in the first quarter, and the Dolphins have a total of 3 yards of offense in this opening quarter. Jacksonville has it 1st and 10 from the Miami 49-yard line. Denard Robinson on 1st down up the middle, and he gets 8 yards. With NFL Mobile, you can stream live local Sunday afternoon primetime games and NFL Red Zone right on your mobile device. Learn more at NFL.com/mobile. Denard Robinson, 5 carries, 59 yards rushing in this first quarter. Bortles keeps it himself, now throws, and it's incomplete, and that had danger written all over it.
Well, that's one of the things that why Blake Bortles is raising some eyebrows.
Well, look at this one. Jason Trusnick on the keeper is actually looking Blake Bortles. We got there a little bit late, but Jason Trusnick came off the edge and thought that Blake Bortles had given the football and was staring Bortles in the eyes and ran right past him on that play.
Jaguars insert Toby Gerhart at running back on 3rd and 2. Fake the pitch to Gerhart. Bortles rolls out. He's going to keep it himself. He lost the football. That's Miami football unless they're saying he's down.
Well, he slapped the football on the ground, which means
saying
the
he's
ground.
down.
Yeah, he's down, and they're getting him just short, or perhaps they'll be close enough to measure. And watch, as Bortles lunges, he's going to reach the football out, and that's what causes the ball to come out. Plus, you can say that his knees were down before the ball even hit the ground.
And
so
that's where the referee's spotting the ball, where
right,
the ball
see,
is when the knee hits the ground, right there.
Right there.
So that's
Down.
where the ball should be.
and then the ball comes out, and the ground obviously causes it. So I think they got a pretty accurate spot, actually, from up here, but it's going to be close enough to measure.
It was Derek Shelby who made the tackle on Bortles, and now they're going to call for a measurement.
You know, it's interesting because, you know, we talk all the time about how teams win and different ways to win. Jacksonville has proven the last couple of weeks that with a defense and a running game, you can overcome just about anything. They overcame bad quarterback play last week, and now they're in the midst of overcoming horrific special teams play here early in this game. And yet they're still, you know, being more than competitive. They've kind of got a stranglehold on this game at this point.
Yeah, they're controlling the game right now. They've got the field position battle won so far. They're getting the short field. Ball's just short.
All right, would you guys go for it here on 4th down?
Ah, that's a great call.
And I think, yeah, Gus Bradley's leaving his team on. Well, let's not forget, they've got one win.
And with the way their defense is playing, I say you go for it for sure. I mean, you got 6 inches. You've been running the ball very well today. You've got a good feel for what the Dolphins are going to do up front. I think you give these guys a chance to make the first down.
And I tell you, too, and there is a risk. You're not just risking the ball at their 40-yard line. You're risking momentum. And Miami's a team that came in here expecting to win. And if you give them daylight, this is a team that might just take that momentum and run to the end of the game with it.
There's a big difference between 4th and 1 or 1.5 as opposed to 4th and 4 inches as well. So you, as a coach, with the ball inside the opponent's 40, I think you can justify this
pretty easily, yeah.
Pretty darn easily, yeah.
Jacksonville 1 for 5 on 4th down.
1, 2, 3, go!
Bortles going to try to keep it himself, push the pile forward, and looks like that spot is good enough for a first down.
Well, it's
The
6'5".
near side official came out to the 39-yard line.
They both gave him the length of a football extra on that spot, and it looks like they're going to give it to him. Yeah, they're going to measure again, but at 6'5", 230, you think Blake Bortles is going to help those offensive linemen surge forward. And it's a lot of, and for me, and Steve, you know this, you played quarterback, a lot of it's at snap count.
It is snap count and or catching them off guard with a quick snap, trying to keep them from getting their momentum and their leverage on the snap. But I think this ball was well short of the 39-yard line, and I think they made it pretty easily. Let's see if not pretty easily.
Not easily, but good enough. First down for Jacksonville.
I thought they got a little more surge than the officials did.
Fifth first down in this quarter for the Jaguars. Miami's still without a first down. In fact, they've only run 6 plays for 3 yards. Following the measurement, 1st and 10 for the Jaguars from the 39-yard line.
3 inside.
Robinson, he is finding a lot of room up the middle of that Miami defense, and he gets 8 more yards.
Well, this is the Jaguars version of the read option. You see Blake Bortles. Watch the defensive end right here, Vernon. If he crashes down hard, Bortles is going to pull that ball. But if he hesitates, Denard Robinson is through the hole before Vernon can get in there and make the play.
Robinson already has 67 yards rushing. The last Jaguar to rush for 100 yards in back-to-back games, Maurice Jones-Drew, late in 2011. Robinson's on his way. Gets the call again. Has a first down. Robinson across the 25. Denard Robinson off to a big start in this opening quarter.
You know, this running game for Jacksonville is playing extremely well, as you can see right now the last couple of weeks. And this play, this is not the read option. This is a stretch play where Denard Robinson is going to stretch the defense to the sideline and then try and find a gap where he can just put 1 foot in the ground and cut up the field. And the Jacksonville offensive line is doing an outstanding job in both those respects, not only on the read option, but also on the stretch plays. They can keep that going. This is a tough running game to stop.
75 yards rushing for Denard Robinson.
3
There's
inside.
20 seconds remaining in the first quarter. Bortles fires, that's caught by Shorts. Cecil Shorts has a first down, lost the football late. Now, was he down? There's also a flag on the far side of the field, so a couple of things to sort out here.
They're spotting the ball just outside the goal line.
But there's a motion penalty against the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Illegal shift. Offense. 2 men were moving and did not get set. 5-yard penalty. Replay. First down.
Let's take another look at this one.
Yeah, you're going to see right here. The motion is going to come. He's in motion coming across here. We wanted to show it a little bit earlier than that, but what Denard Robinson is just getting set, and there are 2 people moving at the same time. You see that little shuffle there. You have to both be set. You can't have 2 people moving at the same time, or they both have to reset, or it's going to be a flag.
Yeah,
it was very clear. If you went back further in the motion, you could see them both walking around.
Well, they were supposed to shift, then go in motion, and they didn't get the shift didn't get set before the motion began, and
there was confusion. Yeah, Denard Robinson was on the wrong side of Blake Bortles.
1 quarter in the books. No score between the Jaguars and Dolphins.
Yes.
Started the second quarter, and in the open of the broadcast, we highlighted the injuries for Jacksonville defensively, and now they're getting stung offensively as Josh Wells has entered the game at left tackle. Luke Jokel out for the rest of the game with a concussion. So now the pressure is on Mr. Wells.
Oh, yeah, and he's going to get a baptism by fire right now with Olivier Vernon. May see a little bit of Cameron Wake over there before the end of the day as well, but he better have his helmet strapped on tight because they're going to be bringing it.
First and 15 to start the second quarter. Bortles, and he's picked off. Intercepted by Delmas, and he's got plenty of room to run. Delmas at the 20. See you later. Louis Delmas, touchdown, Miami. Yard return.
I'll tell you, you think that penalty was significant? The motion penalty? They would have had the ball at the 1-yard line. There's a penalty on the field.
Inadvertently, instead of the beanbag, the marker spotted interception. The result of the play is a touchdown.
It was a flag impersonating a beanbag.
So Jacksonville goes from having the ball at the 1-yard line going in to having this as the very next play. Bortles just really poor decision right there. That's a rookie mistake and one that you hope he's going to learn from, but you can't keep saying that every single week. He's got to come out and understand that you got the ball, you're in good field position, you cannot turn the ball over in that situation, especially on the outside with a guy a free run to the end zone.
11th interception of the season for Blake Bortles, and the first pick this year for Delmas, the 7th of his career. Extra point by Sturgis is good. And the pick 6, costly for the Jaguars. Delmas gives the Dolphins a 7-0 lead. 11th interception this season for Blake Bortles. He threw 3 a week ago. And after that game, Gus Bradley sat down with Bortles and said, look, if you're going to throw some picks, we get that. But you have to maintain positive body language on the sideline. You have to remember this is a process, and you have to stick with that process. So Gus was really on Blake about his body language. Let's see how he responds following that pick 6 by Delmas. Second time in his career he's taken an interception back for a touchdown. Todman's going to take this one out of his own end zone. He gets across the 20 to the 22-yard line. So how will Blake Bortles respond? We're back in a moment. Thursday, it's an all-new night of comedy on CBS, beginning with The Big Bang Theory on its new night, followed by the season premiere of Mom, then the final season of 2.5 Men, and then the series premiere of The McCarthys. It all starts Thursday at 8/7 Central, only CBS. First and 10 for the Jaguars from the 22-yard line. Bortles right back to the air, caught by Shorts for a first down. Cecil Shorts to the 35-yard line as the Jags move to James, but third time this year, Blake Bortles has thrown a pick 6. Week 3 against Indianapolis, Greg Toller took one back 47 yards for a touchdown, and a killer one in the second half against the Steelers. And here today, Delmas, 81 yards for a Miami touchdown. You look at this game, you can make the case Jacksonville should be up 10-0. Instead, it's 7-0 Miami.
I think at least 10.
Miami only has 3 yards on offense. Denard Robinson again, and we go back to New York for the first time today. JB and Bart Scott.
Andrew, a horrible first quarter for Geno Smith.
Geno Smith throws his third interception of the day, his 10th on the year, to Aaron Williams, who returns it 26 yards, later capped off by a Lee Smith 1-yard reception. Michael Vick is now in the game. Buffalo up 14-0.
Geno snatched at 10 minutes into the first quarter. Back to Andrew.
Wow, 10 picks for Geno, and now here in this game, Bortles throws his 11th interception of the season.
It's hard to throw 3 picks in the first quarter, let me just say that.
From experience, are you saying?
No, I've never experienced that.
Robinson continues to gash away at this Miami defense across midfield. Another first down.
I was not able to accomplish that feat. Here's a great screen pass set up, though, by the Jaguars. You get that running game going, and you get you find nice, easy completions for Blake Bortles. Try to get that confidence back up, because no matter how you slice it, he can give the good positive body language. There's doubt in his mind right now, and he's got to fight through that.
Pressure coming, and Bortles is sacked. First one to get there was Jonathan Freeney, the third-year linebacker out of Rutgers.
And guess where they're focusing? On the left side, up here, the Jaguars' offensive line. We talked about Jokel not being in there anymore. They're bringing pressure off of that side, and you got a left tackle that's a rookie swinging out to pick up a guy that's already going to be picked out by the running back. You saw 2 guys blocking one, leaving 1 guy uncovered. That was definitely Josh Wells, a rookie free agent, left tackle's mistake.
Loss of 4 on the play. 2nd and 14.
Green is out.
They fake it to Gerhardt. Bortles nearly intercepted again. Odrick had both hands on it.
Yeah, he threw that. It was a two-way. He faked a screen one way, faked it the other. They were going to have a guy coming right up the middle. It was going to be, I believe it was going to be Clay Harbor, but he hits, as you can see there.
Oh, he didn't get any hands on
Linder.
it. It looked like he had a good look at it.
But Linder right in the back. I mean,
what that was a careless throw by Blake Bortles. He's made the fake, and turned and threw it. You got to see what you're throwing it to. I mean, that could have very easily been picked off one the other way.
3rd down and 14 for the Jaguars. 2 for 5 on 3rd downs today. Bortles over the middle, and it's caught for a first down. Allen Hurns with his 20th catch of the year.
Well, this is a young quarterback. I mean, it's good, and it's really bad at times. This is the good part. Steps up in the pocket, stands tall, has the pocket collapsing around, delivers the deep crossing route right on the target. That's what you're going to get with a young quarterback. You're going to get very good throws, plays where it looks so easy, and then you're going to get just horrific decisions and bad throws as well.
A 20-yard gain for the undrafted receiver out of Miami. Gerhardt fights his way across the 30-yard line to the 29.
You know, as a quarter, you played quarterback, Steve. I mean, this is like, you see him in successive plays. You see the one horrific throw, almost intercepted. Then you see him drop back and do what he did just then.
And those are things, as you mentioned, that you've got to clean up. You can't have the swings of a great play, then a terrible play, the back-breaking kind of play. And Bortles showed right there that he's got the poise to stand in the pocket when things aren't going well with pressure around him and deliver a strike. He just can't get careless on some of those other throws.
Timeout. Joe Philbin ran down the sideline and called timeout for Miami.
Yeah, there was a lot of confusion on that Miami defense. We could hear 3 or 4 players up here yelling, trying to get the defense lined up right, but there was something in the Jaguars formation that really had them messed up. They made the right call in calling a timeout.
Yeah, with the way their offense has been playing, it's a good thing for the Dolphins. Are going to have to line up. You know, a lot of people, and we even said in the open, this Dolphin defense was playing outstanding football in the last 3 weeks, and then all of a sudden, Blake Bortles and company, with their running game, have really played extremely well, moved the football all up and down the field. Now, they've stalled in the red zone and, of course, had the pick 6 because of Blake Bortles' mistake. But this is an offense, I think, that is hitting the Dolphins in the mouth defensively.
That's what you're talking about right there, Steve. Look at the play difference. 30 for Jacksonville, 6 for Miami. They really are controlling this game, but nothing to show for it at this point except a 7-point deficit.
First time out this half for the Dolphins, each team with 2 remaining. They give it to Denard Robinson, and he can't escape Vernon. Olivier Vernon already making his impact felt in this game. Blocked the field goal and a big tackle there on second down.
This is Kevin Coyle, Miami Dolphins. They're calling that, and I think that was a play where Blake Bortles made a mistake again. He should have kept that and gone around as the defensive end crashed down and really stopped Denard Robinson short. Bortles could have gotten around and probably gotten close to a first down just by hanging on to the football and falling forward.
50 down. Here we go. Mike's 53 down. Under here. Lady.
5 on the play clock. Third down and 7. Bortles out of the shotgun. Steps up. And he's going to keep it himself, and he's short of a first down. Could not decide whether to throw that one or keep it. Eventually kept it, but it's 4th down, and here comes Josh Scobie again.
Well, watch Bortles here. This one, he is a very, very good runner. He buys time, extends plays. They could have called motion again on that penalty, on that play, but he steps up right here. I'd like to see him just tuck it and go instead of stretching it more to the sideline. There's nothing available in front of him out there. Those guys are locked up. Make one of those defensive backs tackle your 6'5", 250-pound body. See if he can stop it short of the first down.
A 45-yard field goal attempt for Scobie. His first attempt was blocked.
No way!
This one on the way, drifting right, and it's no good. And now there's a flag down. And it looks to be offsides.
And that may be
Outside. Defense. Number 95.
well. That brings up another
5-yard
4th and
penalty.
very short.
Replay. 4th down.
That's going to be
It's on Dion Jordan.
now. Gus Bradley's got to wonder if he's going to try and kick it again. It's not like pulling points off the board in this case.
No, because he missed the kick. You're
There you
right.
see, they couldn't get back in. He missed the kick. Now it's going to be 4th and less than another yard.
Right. He's got.
I mean, way less. Another half a yard.
What would you do here?
Man, I'll tell you with the
Wow,
with the confidence.
I send the offense back
Yeah.
out, and they are. I agree with it. I'd go for it again. But now they've got to hurry as the play clock's down to 19 seconds and counting, and they're just running out on the field. They got to get this done.
I would think they'll reset the clock here on this one if you saw the end decision. I'd be surprised if they did.
Well, it's now 7 and counting. They're
Although the
not.
referees are still holding up.
Now they are. Now
they're
Gus
going to
Bradley's
reset it.
well, he's going to take a timeout.
Gus Bradley calls
Got to take a
timeout.
timeout.
Well, that should have been a reset clock.
So second timeout this half called for by the Jaguars. 9:35 to go, second quarter.
Yeah, you're right. I
It was a
disagree.
penalty.
Yeah,
And
they
the-
should have reset the clock, but they didn't.
They got to let the there's all kinds of things that have
Well,
to happen once a penalty is
They
called.
also didn't spot the ball till late, and then you got to give
Right,
the coach a
clock's
chance to make the
going.
decision, make the change, and then it's.
All right, last time on 4th and short, Bortles kept it, barely got it, but he did. Do you stick it on the ground here, or you try to fool him with a play action?
I think a play action pass.
I like the call of a play action, but I think they're going to run it. They're going to try and pound Toby Gerhardt up in there. Blake Bortles is just
2 tight ends, 1 wide.
In these situations, he's not shown the ability to just,
Yeah.
you can't quite 100% trust him yet, I think, if you're Jed Fish and Gus Bradley.
We got Tofo'o and Gerhardt in the backfield.
Green 80.
On 4th and 1, it's Gerhardt. And he falls forward, and he's got the first down. Near side official marks it at the 20. That's good for a Jacksonville first down. They're now 2 for 2 on 4th downs today.
You know, one thing that I think the Jaguars have established, and I really question Toby Gerhardt being in there, he looks to me like he's not hitting the ball up in there. We noticed it earlier in the season. He's kind of dancing a little bit. Denard Robinson these last 2 weeks has been very decisive, very powerful running the football. I would have liked to see Denard Robinson
Hey,
carry
Mike's
that ball.
93. Mike's 93. Down.
10
Green 80.
first downs for Jacksonville. Miami still without a first down in this first half. It is Denard Robinson, and he has the 17-yard line.
Well, we've seen Jacksonville struggle in the red zone today where they've turned it over, missed field goals, had a field goal block. And I think now, if you want your red zone offense to improve, lean on your run game. because teams that run the best are the best red zone teams. You've got to make your team, make the defense honor that, and I think that's what Jacksonville needs to do here as they try and get into the end zone for their first touchdown.
And they botch the snap. There's a flag down, and they blow this play dead.
Snap infraction. Offense, number 70. 5-yard penalty. Still second down.
That's the rookie Bowenko.
I don't know if he rolled it back or thought Bortles was under center. Oh, he just lost his grip.
Slipped, yeah. Very, very lucky.
It's lucky they just didn't call that a botched fumble. Yeah, it should be a fumbled, a live ball. I don't know why they stopped that.
White. Hey, Mike 23, down. Back right. No, it's not. Lynn, green 80.
Second down and 12. Inside 8 minutes to go first half. This is Denard Robinson across the 20 and dragged down at the 19-yard line.
That was the same play they ran earlier in the game. Second play of the game, I believe. The fake reverse to Denard Robinson. They picked up 45 on it the first time they ran it. Right there, better defended by the Dolphins, but it still picked up 5 yards.
7-minute drive and counting for the Jaguars. This is the 13th play of the drive. This base with a 3rd and 9.
This Miami Dolphins got to be gassed. 13th play of this drive. The offense has only been on the field for 6 plays.
Bortles fires right to Robinson, and he is tackled short of a first down. About a yard and a half shy of the chains for Robinson. It brings up 4th down again. And they're going to send Scobie out.
Well, how disappointing is this for Jacksonville? I mean, to be absolutely dominating this game and to have nothing to show for it. You got to settle for another field goal. You got the break to get the first down inside the red zone. Now you're still settling for a field goal again.
Yeah, it's going to be the most unhappy field goal make if they can get it through the uprights that you'll find. I mean, it really feels disappointing to the Jaguars, I'm sure.
Scobie's 30-yard attempt is good, and finally Jacksonville is on the scoreboard. They have 199 yards of offense, and they trail 7-3.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by the United States Marine Corps. The few, the proud, the Marines. DirecTV. If you call yourself a sports fan, you gotta get DirecTV. And by State Farm. Pump up your savings with a discount double check today.
Back in Jacksonville, where the Jaguars are finally on the scoreboard, they trail 7-3 with 6:28 to go in the first half. With the Steves, Berline, and Tasker, I'm Andrew Catalan. We thank you for joining us here for Week 8 of the NFL on CBS. A touchback. Miami will start at the 20 when we come back. We apologize for some technical difficulties. Miami is back out there from the 20-yard line. 6:28 to go in the opening half. Tannehill play action. And he fires it out to his tight end, Clay, and he gets maybe a yard on the play. This Jacksonville defense has done a tremendous job today. Telvin Smith makes the tackle.
Well, we've only seen him for 7 plays, so we don't know what they've done. I mean, they've had him backed up in there. They've got him 2-3 and out, so yes, they've played fantastic. And we've not seen this Miami Dolphins offense find any rhythm to this point. Heck, we had to wake him up on the sideline during the intermission.
Yeah, Tannehill's been sacked twice out of 7 plays now.
Miami has 4 yards of offense. Play action again, pressure coming. Tannehill throws it away. That was Tyson Alualu bringing the heat, and it's 3rd down.
Well, this was right off the snap again. I don't know what you're going to. It's just Alualu slants inside, and it's Darren College again. He's the one that has really been struggling up front. Very unusual. This Miami Dolphins deep offensive line has been playing at a very high level the last 3 weeks especially, and they've exposed something the Jaguars have up front.
3rd down and 9 for the Dolphins. Landry in motion. 3 on the play clock. Tannehill, 3-step drop. Fires deep for Clay, incomplete over his head. And Miami will have to punt. They've run 9 plays and have 4 yards of offense.
Well, once again, Tannehill has to get rid of this. He's got the pocket collapsing on him. Goes right over the top of Clay, who was actually open, but you can imagine how skittish Tannehill is after getting sacked and hit and having to throw the football away.
But you know what, though, Steve? When your team needs you to make a play, that play was open on the side. It was good coverage, but there was a place to put that football. Tannehill has to make a play to keep his defense off the field.
Flag is down. Low snap. Fields sends it towards Sanders. He lets it drop.
He lost it in the sun, I think.
And Miami downs it at the 14-yard line. That flag was right off the snap back at the line of scrimmage.
Now Sanders, you can tell by his reaction, he knows the ball didn't hit him. So that was just like letting the punt drop, which is unfortunate because that was a line drive punt.
But it's against the Dolphins.
I think you take him back.
65-yard punt.
Make him punt it again if you have the option.
Sure.
And Ace Sanders very lucky there was a penalty on that play, even though it didn't touch him. I mean, he lost that ball in the sun.
Well, it's not going to be easy.
Illegal formation, kicking team. Yeah, number 97 was not on the line of scrimmage. 5-yard penalty, replay, 4th down.
And this is a good decision by Gus Bradley. Make him cover another punt. And you can see, look at his shadow. It's so small at his feet. That ball's coming right out of it. Drops right in front of him. It dropped right out of the sun.
Very lucky, and the penalty obviously would have offset a fumble or a muff at that point anyway. But
I mean, you can look at where Ace Sanders' shadow is behind him, and the ball is going to be dropping right at the angle from the top of his head down to that. And that's, here in the Florida, that sun, it's a factor in this stadium at this time of day.
A couple of big special teams penalties against the Dolphins. Deion Jordan jumped, and that time it's Kelvin Shepard who's called for the penalty. So Fields will kick it again. Sanders waiting for it on his own 33-yard line. This is a low line drive. Fields is last in the league in average hang time. And a nice tackle, though, on special teams. Rashard Matthews makes the stop. Timeout on the field.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by Verizon. More live games than ever before with NFL Mobile. And by Cialis.
Back in Jacksonville. Beautiful day, week 8 of the NFL on CBS. Take a look at the numbers. Ryan Tannehill, 2 for 5, 8 yards. Miami has 4 yards of offense in this first half, yet they lead 7-3. 1st and 10 for Jacksonville. Bortles wants to take a deep shot. Shorts got held up, and there's a flag down. It was Brent Grimes on the coverage. There's also a flag back at the line of scrimmage, so there's 2 penalty markers down.
There are 2 fouls on the play, both against the defense. Illegal use of hands, defense number 25. That penalty is declined. Pass interference, spot of the foul, 1st down.
Wow, so a big one. The pass interference call brings it all the way down to the 40-yard line of Miami.
Well, Brent Grimes told us that he's going to see some double moves from the Jacksonville Jaguars right there, the little out and up. That got him totally spun around. That was a great job by Cecil Short setting it up, and Grimes said, you know, I trust my eyes. I play with my eyes. Well, right there, his eyes lied to him. He thought they were running the out. Cecil Shorts had a beat over the top. Good penalty. You don't want to let him catch that one.
A 23-yard penalty. Bortles on the read option, keeps it himself, and he's tackled at the 36-yard line by Cameron Wake as we approach 5 minutes to go in the opening half.
Yeah, that's what those defensive players are coached to do in those situations, right, Steve?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, you better take that penalty, give them a 1st down at your 40 than to be, lining up to, defend an extra point, because that's what it would have been. I mean, Shorts had him beat, and Blake Bortles put that ball in the air, and without that penalty, it's a touchdown.
Exactly.
Mike's 93, Mike's
Penalty
93,
was
down.
23 yards. Dolphins
380.
have just 4 yards of offense. It's 2nd and 7 for
Green is out.
Jacksonville. Bortles back to the air. Now he's going to step up and keep it himself. Up the middle. Lost the football. Ball is out. A scramble for it at the 23-yard line.
Well, they're going to start digging. They don't know who's got it yet. There's no signal, and basically what happens, the officials go down there and they'll see if one guy's got possession under there, they'll call it, and then no matter what happens after that, they'll let it go. It doesn't
Miami
matter.
indicating
And Miami
they have
thinks
it,
they've
and they
got
do.
it.
Jenkins forced the fumble.
Just careless by Blake Bortles. I mean, you can keep. Now they're pointing the other way. They're still trying to decide out there in the huddle. I think it's already been awarded to the Dolphins, but Bortles right there does a great job tucking it and going. I don't know if it was a designed run or not, but he's looking inside. You've got to secure that football. These guys are so good at coming in there, ripping that ball out. If they see the leather at all, they will punch that thing out of there. Right there, Blake Bortles learned the hard way.
Second turnover today for Bortles, the interception and now the fumble. And how about these Jaguars miscues? Blocked field goal, a holding on a made field goal, the pick six, and now the fumble lost. Jacksonville this season, their turnover margin is a -10. Only the Jets and Washington coming into the week had a worse margin at -9.
He's on it.
Well, and it's been terrible timing, Andrew, and also those are just the obvious mistakes that have been made. There's been a lot more key plays in this game that have prevented Jacksonville from getting into the end zone.
They're crediting the recovery to Delmas, who had that pick six. So Miami gets the ball back, 1st and 10. Landry trying to get around the outside, and he's slammed to the ground by Cyprien. And there's an injured Dolphin, a little slow to get up. That was Nate Garner, offensive lineman.
And now they're going to stop the game. And that's when a guy gets up and doesn't seem right on his feet, they start, and he's taking a knee now. He's going to stay down. What happens is they'll come out and they'll ask him if he's hurt and where it was. And the first thing you think of is concussion. We've already lost one offensive lineman to a concussion. We'll watch what happens to Garner as they attend to him.
Well, there's Nate Garner. You're going to see what happens. Unfortunately, he's going to meet number 79, Red Bryant, in a time he wasn't hoping to meet him. Boom! Just completely took him off his feet. Red Bryant is 325 pounds, felt the jersey coming, lowered his shoulder, and just lifted Garner off the ground. Garner was in at left guard, replacing Darren College, who's been really struggling today.
So following the timeout, it's 2nd down and 6 for Miami. Tannehill keeps it on the read option, has some room to run, slides down for a 1st down. Had so much success running the read option, and we sat with Joe Philbin and offensive coordinator Bill Lazor yesterday and said, how do you balance the success you're having with that play along with keeping Ryan Tannehill healthy? And Joe Philbin gave a great answer. He said, if Tannehill makes the right decision, he should have plenty of room to run and plenty of time to get down. That's exactly what happened on that read option play. It was a 9-yard run. So Miami doubled its offensive output on that one play. Tannehill's pass is batted down. It was Avery Jones getting a hand on that one.
This defensive front for the Jacksonville Jaguars, very, very unheralded because of the struggles this organization has had over the last couple years, but they give great effort. We've had the opportunity to cover the Jaguars several times this year, and every team that comes into playing, they say this defensive front is as tough and physical and high effort, high energy as any in the NFL. Very underrated.
2nd down and 10. Tannehill looking left, throws that way, and that is Lamar Miller making the catch out of the backfield. With 3:02 to go in the opening half. Miami has 2 timeouts remaining, Jacksonville with 1.
As Miami steps up
So how about this? Miami has 26 yards of offense in the first half. The fewest yards in franchise history for Miami in the first half, 45 yards back in 2003 against New England. So they are flirting with the record books here.
You just saw Billy Lazor and Joe Philbin. They'll go in at halftime. They've been pretty good adjusting at halftime all year, but they're hoping for something before that halftime comes around.
3rd down and 1. First down for Miller up the middle. First time today that Miami has converted on 3rd down as the clock continues to tick, approaching 2:20 to go.
And Miami's still continuing to shuffle their line around. Dallas Thomas has come in now, the 3rd round draft pick last year out of Tennessee. He's played in every game this year, and he started at Kansas City and Oakland. But they're still shuffling that front line, but now they're starting to see some progress.
1st and 10, and that pass is incomplete, and it takes us to the 2-minute warning. 2 timeouts left for the Dolphins. They lead it 7-3. Coming up on the Verizon Halftime Report, join JB, Tony, Bart, Boomer, and Coach Cower for all the latest NFL scores and highlights, as well as a preview of Thursday Night Football on NFL Network. That's coming up on the Verizon Halftime Report. 1:58 to go. Miami, 2 timeouts remaining. They have the ball at midfield. It's 2nd down and 10. Somehow they lead this game 7-3. Tannehill, good protection over the middle, and it's caught. Brian Hartline with a 1st down. All the way up to the 30-yard line before Cyprien makes the tackle. No timeout called for by Miami. They hustle up to the line after a gain of 19. That is their longest play today. Tannehill pressure coming, unloads it, and the screen to Miller. Tackled by Davis and Blackman.
Well, that was Telvin Smith. It just flashed enough on that screen pass to disrupt the timing of that play, because they had Lyman out front. That could have been a big play on that screen.
Jacksonville only has the 1 timeout remaining. As Tannehill's pass is batted down, and that'll stop the clock. Chris Clemens got a hand on that one.
Yeah, and there was some confusion in the defensive linebacking core in the back end as they were trying to cover the receivers up. It's a good thing Chris Clemens got up high and knocked that down. With the injuries that have happened to the Jacksonville defense, you knew there'd be some communication issues, particularly at the line between the linebackers in the front and the secondary. That seemed to be the case, as the linebackers and the safeties couldn't get lined up to decide who was covering who.
3rd down and 4 for Miami. Tannehill fires, incomplete. That stops the clock again, as Hartline could not bring that one in, and Caleb Sturgis will come out on the field to attempt a field goal.
There's no excuse for this. This is the protection was good, the call was good. It's just coming down to a throw and catch. Look at Ryan Tannehill's got a nice lane. Hartline is open. Hartline was kind of moving out. The ball goes on the inside. Hartline still has got to make that catch. It wasn't a great throw, but one of them has to make a play there.
Now Sturgis, who's 11 out of 14 on the season. This one 43 yards away. Nearly blocked, but he splits it through. And Miami puts 3 more on the board. They lead it 10-3 over the Jaguars. Don't miss a moment of today's football action. The CBS Sports app now is the fastest scores. Download it now. Get your scores first right on your phone. 58 seconds remain. Jacksonville has 1 timeout remaining. Now, Blake Bortles this season has looked his best in the 2-minute offense. That's what Jed Fish told us, and the numbers back that up. Last week, late in the first half against Cleveland, he went 76 yards in 3 plays. And on this season, Bortles has run 6 2-minute drills. 74% completion percentage, 3 touchdowns, and 1 interception. So Bortles has shown this year that he can move the ball quickly in this 2-minute offense. He'll have 1 timeout to work with. Todman will take this one out of his end zone. It's away from 1, and Todman tackled at the 19-yard line. Don't forget, coming up in the Verizon Halftime Report, join JB, Tony, Bart, Boomer, and Coach Cower for all the latest NFL scores and highlights, as well as a preview of Thursday Night Football on NFL Network. That's coming up on the Verizon Halftime Report. So, Steve Berline, why do you think Bortles has so much success in his 2-minute offense?
Well, I think he can do the things that come most natural to him right now. You know, to be a quarterback in the NFL, it's a lot of thinking. I think he plays better right now when he doesn't have to think so much. Just get out there and try and run around and find the open guy. That's where he's had success so far this year.
Let's see what he does here with 52 seconds and 1 timeout. Bortles in trouble and he's sacked. Cameron Wake. He now has 5.5 sacks on the season.
Just a 4-man rush. You see the 4 guys lined up. In fact, only a 3-man rush. They drop one out, and that was the right tackle, Austin Pastor, that just got driven all the way back into Blake Bortles' lap.
Miami think about taking the timeout here. They don't. They do have 2 remaining, 2nd and 13. Bortles sideline, and that one is caught. Did not get out of bounds. Jacksonville has to call timeout, and they don't. They appear content with just letting the clock run out here in the first half. And don't forget, Miami gets the ball to start the second half.
Well, that's just Gus Bradley not having the confidence.
Well, that's right.
They want to get in the locker room and just talk about it.
It's been a very strange first half.
Somehow Miami leads at 10-3. We're coming back with the Verizon Halftime Report after this message and a word from your local station. You're watching the NFL on CBS. Started the second half in Jacksonville, and the Dolphins have a 10-3 lead. Back in the booth with the Steves, Berline and Tasker. I'm Andrew Catalan. You look at the stats. Jacksonville has 219 yards of offense. Miami has 56 yards. So how are the Dolphins winning this game 10-3?
This is a head scratcher. This is one of the most interesting games I've been a part of in a very long time. You can't really explain anything why it's happened the way that it has. The bottom line is that both teams are very fortunate to be where they're at. You know, only a 10-3 ball game. I don't know if you go in the locker room happy, relieved that you're not out of the game yet, or what, but the bottom line is that the second half, both teams can come out and play a heck of a lot better than they did the first half.
Yeah, Jacksonville put together a really good first half, except for the couple of mistakes, miscues. I mean, it really cost them. And the Dolphins couldn't even get back on the field. I mean, look at this the block kick cost 3 points, or what could have been 3 points for the Jacksonville Jaguars. Then Blake Bortles has a pick 6. That's the first points of the game. And then the fumble that took them out of scoring position again. And you add to that a holding call on another made field goal that was taken off the board. And, you know, Jacksonville's sitting here looking up at the scoreboard and thinking, how does that happen?
Well, and the miscues have been at the absolute worst time possible. And there's been so many of them, you can't just sit there and say, well, it's just a couple of plays. It's a bunch of bad plays that they've made at the wrong time, despite the fact they've dominated this game.
Yeah, a lot of their mistakes have happened on scoring plays or in scoring position. It wasn't was anything other than robbing Jacksonville of opportunities to put points directly on the board.
Couple of injury updates from Miami. Olivier Vernon questionable to return with a stinger. And if you're just joining us, Luke Jokel, the starting left tackle for the Jaguars, out for the rest of the game with a concussion. Jacksonville has lost 21 straight games, trailing at halftime. Not come back since 2012. And Landry with a nice return, almost out to the 30-yard line. All right, Steves, let's hear your second half adjustments.
Well, for Miami, the guys we spoke about, their playmakers, Wallace doesn't have a reception. Hartline has one. Clay has one. These guys have got to get involved, and their offense has to stay on the field.
And for Jacksonville, we've talked about it a little bit. Just the miscues have been ridiculous. You've got to focus on the little things. You're dominating both sides of the line of the ball, offensively, defensively. Just don't make the bonehead plays, the bad plays, because that's the only reason you're not running away with this ball game.
1st and 10 from the 29-yard line. Tannehill over the middle to Landry. And he comes very close to a first down. Josh Evans makes the tackle. And we'll wait and see if it's 9 yards or 10 yards.
They're going to move the chains and give him the first down. He kind of earned it. And if you Listen to the hit at the end of this play. It was massive.
Landry, the second-round pick out of LSU. He said playing in the SEC has really helped prepare him for his rookie season in the NFL. The speed of the game. Tannehill fires right back to Landry. And he's shoved out at the 45-yard line.
Well, it'll be interesting to see this second half. Miami and their offensive coordinator, Billy Lazor, have been very, very good in the second half of football games this year. You look at their first half possessions, nothing to brag about. I'm sure Billy Lazor is nothing but embarrassed about that output in the first half, but they have shown the ability to come back, regroup, and game plan for the second half very effectively.
Nate Garner also with a stinger, and his return is questionable. Tannehill fakes it. Now comes back to Thomas, and the other Thomas wraps him up. J.T. Thomas gets the better of Daniel Thomas.
Yeah, this is one more thing. Early in the second half, it's obvious that the Dolphins want to get this football out of Tannehill's hand. They've given up a couple of sacks, so they decided to take a little bit of the starch out of the pass rush for the Jaguars by throwing screen passes and quick release throws to kind of keep the pressure off Tannehill.
Miami 1 for 5 on third downs in that first half. It's third down and 8. Pressure coming, and Tannehill is sacked for the third time today. Ryan Davis, one of the first ones back there, and good coverage downfield by the Jaguars secondary.
Yeah, this is just it's a coverage sack, but it's also a unique look up front. And there was a chance right there to get the ball to Landry. He did a good job, but you see all the pressure coming from the outside. It was just an overload. Too many guys off the right side of the Miami Dolphins offensive line. Look at this spread formation going now on the punt team here now.
Second sack today for Ryan Davis. He now doubles his season total. And he's playing for the injured Andre Branch, who's out 6 weeks, and Davis has had a big impact in this game. Sanders trying to make something happen on special teams. A flag comes in from behind the play, down at the 12-yard line. And indications are this is going against Jacksonville.
During the return, illegal block in the back. Receiving team, number 35. Half the distance to the goal. Jacksonville keeps the ball. First down. Timeout.
Penalty on Demetrius McCray. Jacksonville football when we come back. Well, in 5 of 6 games this year, Miami had scored points on its opening possession of the second half. Not today against Jacksonville. Jaguars force a punt. They have it 1st and 10 on their own 7-yard line. Bernard Robinson is next to Bortles. Robinson at 90 yards rushing in the first half. Bortles, pump fakes. Now looking for Shorts, and he's picked again! And it could be a second pick six. It is! This time it's Brent Grimes! Touchdown, Miami! Fourth time this year that Blake Bortles has thrown a pick six.
You know, you remember this with Matt Schaub a couple years ago with the Houston Texans. When it starts happening, it's hard to stop. But right here is Cecil Shorts, and he runs a little double move. Blake Bortles is throwing a back shoulder throw to him. It's just a complete miscommunication, and that is the one thing you cannot have when you're backed up in your own end zone. There's no excuse for that. I don't know who to put it on, whether Cecil Shorts didn't adjust properly. Very unfortunate for Jacksonville.
Second career interception return for a touchdown for Brent Grimes, the 19th pick of his career, and Miami with another defensive touchdown. Bortles with his 12th pick of the year.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by Southwest Airlines. Book your low fare now at southwest.com. Geico. 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on car insurance. And by the all-new 2015 Acura TLX. It's that kind of thrill.
Back in Jacksonville, where Blake Bortles has now thrown multiple interceptions in 5 of 6 games this year. 12 interceptions on the season. The record for the most interceptions by a rookie is Peyton Manning, through 28 when he was a rookie. Coming up next, NFL on CBS rolls on with Andrew Luck and the Colts taking on Big Ben and the Steelers, or the Raiders battle the Browns. Check your local listing. So Bortles comes back out. Would you stick with Bortles here, or would you make a change to former Dolphin quarterback Chad Henne?
Well, I think you give him one more chance here, and I think if you do make a change, it's to win this ball game, because the rest of your team is playing their guts out all day long. They're running the ball well. They're playing good defense. You got to try to win this ball game, but Blake Bortles still would remain the starter going into next week, in my opinion.
Bortles, deep shot for Harbor, and that one is incomplete. Tamar Taylor was running right alongside Harbor.
Yeah, and I have to chime in on what Steve said. I agree. They're in the rookie quarterback business. They made that decision a month ago, and you knew it was going to be dark days ahead, and that the guy was going to make some mistakes. And that right there was not a bad throw, but we'll never know on that last pick six whether it was Cecil Shorts or Blake Bortles, or what the ins and outs of who was right and who was wrong. So Bortles has to let that football go. We know he won't stop. But I think you give him another opportunity, just like Steve. Don't pull him out yet.
Green shot.
Denard Robinson trying to run the left side, and he gets a yard on the play. That'll bring up 3rd down and long.
If I'm the Dolphins, I attack the line of scrimmage, and I mean, I'm begging the Jaguars to throw the football now, and I think you're going to see a defensive front that's going to force Blake Bortles to throw the football.
Well, this is going to test Jed Fish and Gus Bradley, too. There's still plenty of time in this ball game. They've moved the ball up and down the field for the most part. You have to stick with the running game. You come out and throw it on first down, try to run on second. You got a 3rd and long now situation. Bortles, this is a very dangerous situation again.
And it's been 3rd and long all day. You see the Jaguars average 3rd and 7. Here it's 3rd and 8. Bortles in trouble, gets away. Has room to run. Easily picks up the 1st down. And tippy-toes down the sideline and out of bounds. A 32-yard gain for Blake Bortles.
Well, this is where he steps up, and this is one of the things that, he's needed to do at different times. This play, that's a great job staying in bounds, tight-roping the sidelines, doesn't step out there, and that's what he does. He gets all the way down the field, and that was a great job by Bortles. Better to take the football run, get a few positive yards than try and make a throw that's ill-advised.
Longest rush of his career.
Easy. Dakota. Mike's 93. Delta.
Robinson, one of the Dolphins, lost their helmet on that play. That Jenkins.
Sorry, Andrew. You make the point, though, Steve, that to see Blake Bortles tuck it and go right there. There's been several opportunities over the last few weeks we've seen where he should have tucked it and gone. And it takes a lot of pressure off the rest of the offense if he does it. Right there was a nice 3rd down conversion. But if he's not sure with the football, he's got the ability to tuck it and make good things happen. I think that should be more of a stop process.
Play action. Bortles steps up over the middle, and it's dropped. That appeared to hit Allen Robinson right in the numbers.
Yeah, and that's one of the things, your quarterback's going to struggle. He comes up, he avoids the face-on boot rush right there. He should have gotten tackled. Everybody's got to pick it up. Allen Robinson's got to make that catch. When your quarterback's struggling, everybody else has got to make plays that they wouldn't normally make. That was a play that needed to be made. And, when that guy's struggling in the pocket, everybody... that's when the whole team has to jump on his back and help him.
3rd and 7 for Jacksonville. Bortles to the left to Hearns. Sidesteps one defender, and Allen Hearns picks up the 1st down. Great move by the rookie out of Miami. A 9-yard gain.
This is exactly what you're talking about, right, Steve Tasker? I mean, a quick, easy throw. Should have been stopped for short of the 1st down, but Hearns takes it upon himself, makes a couple of guys miss, and he's got the nice 3rd down conversion, and now Jacksonville's back in business.
Tamar Taylor missed that tackle for Miami defensively. 1st and 10 for Jacksonville at the 35. And Bortles is sacked. Olivier Vernon. A block kick today, and now give him a sack.
This was a complete bust by the left tackle. Josh Wells in for the Luke Jokel, excuse me. We don't even have, Blake Bortles never had a chance to even see the ball, look up the field to see if anybody was open. You see right there the spin move by Vernon, and Bortles had no chance. That's a very, very tough first assignment by Josh Wells.
First down.
And they got an automatic first down on a penalty in the secondary. I didn't see the flag anywhere. I still don't see it.
Did he even tell us what the penalty was?
That was a late flag that came in.
Wow, you go from giving up a sack to getting a first down to first and 10 on the 29.
We're still waiting to hear what the penalty was. In any event, it's first and 10 for Jackson. That was a costly penalty for the Dolphins as Denard Robinson crosses the 25-yard line.
Yeah, costly penalty is an understatement, Andrew. I mean,
it's a legal contact on Delmas.
Okay.
You know, Delmas was at the 20-yard line. Delmas, who had that pick six, the first one today from the Miami defense, with a costly penalty there. Second down and 6 from the 25. They pitch it to Denard Robinson. And he is pushed back. Forward progress takes him to the 23-yard line. Shaw Jones makes the tackle. And Denard Robinson has 14 carries for 99 yards.
He doesn't look like a converted quarterback anymore.
No.
He looks like a running back.
We asked him about that last week, and he said he still thinks like a quarterback, but he looks at himself as a running back now.
Bortles incomplete. That's a bad pass.
He looked hesitant. It looked as though he almost wanted to pump fake that. He didn't throw that with confidence like we've seen him throw. As he looks out there, he saw maybe a flash right up at the end of the line of scrimmage. Maybe somebody got into his vision. You see there, yeah. Audric might have gotten into his vision. He didn't want to get it batted down or picked off. I think he just hesitated on a simple little out throw.
That I have done, Andrew. I have missed an open receiver in a tough situation, and nobody feels worse than Blake Bortles does. He knows he's got to make that throw.
40-yard attempt. Josh Scobie, and right down the middle. I assume that only happened 1 or 2 times, Steve. 7:55 to go, third quarter. It's 17-6 Miami. Aerial coverage of today's game is provided by MetLife. Our thanks to Snoopy One, high above Everbank Field, where Miami has a 17-6 lead. With the Steves, Berline, and Tasker, I'm Andrew Catalan. The entire CBS crew, we thank you for joining us here week 8 of the NFL on CBS. And Scobie with a touchback. Miami will start at the 20-yard line. Ryan Tannehill coming back out here on CBS.
By the all-new 2015 Acura TLX. It's that kind of thrill. And by Microsoft Surface, the official tablet of the NFL.
Jacksonville Air Show this weekend. Take a look at this graphic. Miami has more interception return yards than total yards on offense today. Tannehill back on the field, first and 10. Fires, and Hartline could not bring that one in. He was open, too.
He was open, Andrew. You're 100% right, and it's got to be a better throw from Ryan Tannehill. When your offense is struggling, and they have been struggling, Jacksonville has not given them the ball many times. That's a throw that has got to be made. Ryan Tannehill to step up and get this offense jump-started.
Hartline has 1 catch. Mike Wallace does not have a catch today as Lamar Miller gets to the 25-yard line, but it will bring up a third down for Miami.
Yeah, I think that's one thing that's got to get fixed. You've got to get the football to some guys that can make some yards. Mike Wallace is as fast a guy and as big a playmaker as you'll find at wide receiver, and they haven't even thrown at him, let alone giving him a catch.
Jacksonville defense trying to force a 3-and-out. 3rd and 5. Tannehill incomplete. Grotz may have got a hand on that one, and that is a lightning quick 3-and-out.
Well, they gave it the effort.
And I think Mike Wallace, You saw a little bit of jersey grab there by Dwayne Grotz. That's what Mike Wallace is a little bit upset about. He kind of threw him off his course, I think, a little bit, because I was going to say that Wallace needed to come flatter to get that football. He would have caught it, I believe, but Grotz did tug at that jersey and pull him back outside.
Coming into the game, Miami had only gone 3 and out 7 times, the fewest in the NFL. Today, 4 3 and outs. And Sanders is brought down at the 28-yard line. Week 8 continues later today on CBS and for some of you on Fox. Then tonight with Sunday Night Football on NBC. And tune in tomorrow for Monday Night Football on ESPN. Now that last stat, I think, highlights, as we say hello to our little friend there, just how well this Jacksonville defense has played today. Obviously, Jacksonville 1-6. They have a lot of issues offensively, but you got to tip your cap to this Jaguars defense.
And that's one of the reasons that the Dolphins have so few plays, because of those 3 and outs you're talking about. The Jaguars defense is not letting them convert anything, so you have to give them a lot of credit.
Bortles over the middle, almost intercepted off the deflection. Jelani Jenkins had it in his hands.
Well, this is another spot where the wide receiver almost gets Blake Bortles into trouble. That's right on the numbers. Couldn't have been a better throw. And Hearns just can't pull it in. I mean, this hits him right there. He's covered. I mean, Trusnick's all over him, but that's a ball that's got to get caught. And so, you know, it's like we said, you know, your defense and your running game can really help you, but when your quarterback's struggling, it's going to take everybody to pick him up. That's a play. That's an example of it right there.
Hearns has had an issue with drops the entire season. 2nd down. Bortles lofts one. Nice catch. That is Hearns with some redemption. Back to New York, JB and Bart Scott.
Baltimore has narrowed the gap.
Yes, you got Lorenzo Farrell cutting on a dime, cutting the lead down to 14-13. The 2-point version was good. Baltimore closing the gap, 14-17.
1:52 left in the third. Back to Andrew, Steve, and Steve.
That's a big game for Cincinnati to keep pace with Baltimore. They got to have that one.
Following the catch by Hearns, which went for 20. It's 1st and 10. Jacksonville, deep shot here. Looking for shorts, incomplete. Grimes had good coverage on that play.
I like the mentality of taking a shot. We've again seen this Jaguars team several times this year. One of the things we all agree on is they need to try and take the top off of defense a little bit better, put the ball up the field, because when you don't stretch the defense that way, they jump on all the underneath routes. It just makes all those throws so much more tight, harder to get that ball in there.
You're not going to make those throws, though, until your receivers get over the top of the DBs.
Right.
As long as Grimes keeps that cushion, he's going to defend it.
But you make a statement by throwing the ball out there anyway.
Bortles incomplete. Had to get rid of it quickly because pressure was coming from Cameron Wake. And it's 3rd and 10.
And they tried to get this to Marquise Lee coming across. You'll come right across the formation, comes clean. As you see, he's got Jelani Jenkins trying to keep up with Lee, and that's a great mismatch. I mean, if they can hit Marquise Lee in stride, that's a big play.
But Marquise Lee, the rookie, has got to see Cameron Wake running up the field. Cameron Wake running up the field and understand that ball's coming quick. He's got to get that head around.
Once again, Bortles has done well in short passes, struggled on the longer passes. 3rd and 10, and he's sacked! Rashad Jones with his first sack of the season.
You're going to see coming right through here. They loaded up the front, and they came with an all-out blitz, and Bortles, I think as a young quarterback, you got to assume that he got confused in his protections. He looked like he didn't know that he was hot on that play, and they obviously brought more than the Jaguars could block up front. Quarterback, the most difficult thing to learn is how to identify protections.
Dolphins defense had 3 sacks last week in Chicago, 3 more today, and that takes a nice Jaguars bounce out of bounds at the 5-yard line. 5:50 to go, 3rd quarter. Miami leads it 17-6. It's like Ace Ventura trying to rescue the parrot in the movie. Tomorrow on CBS, great night for comedy, beginning with the season premiere of Two Broke Girls, followed by a new episode of The Millers. It all starts tomorrow at 8/7 Central, only on CBS. It just cost me $25 grand, Polly. 1st and 10 for Miami. And they started on the ground to Lamar Miller, who's had a quiet day. Philip Wheeler makes, check that. JT Thomas makes the tackle.
Andrew, who on this Miami Dolphins offense has not had a quiet day? That's the question. They have not been able to find any rhythm in any way, shape, or form to this point.
31 yards rushing today for Miami. They came in 4th in the NFL. 2nd and 6. And not much doing again. Ziggy Hood.
Yeah, Miami's offensive line has 4 new starters from a year ago, and the 5th starter, which is Mike Pouncey, is playing a different position. And up until really today, and particularly on that play, they played a little bit better. Now, they did have some troubles at left guard today. Darren College gave up a couple of sacks. They replaced him with Dallas Thomas, but still, this offensive line has played much better coming into today, and today, Jacksonville front 4 is absolutely crushing them.
Another 3rd down, 3rd and 7 for the Dolphins. Tannehill, and that pass is caught, but short of a 1st down, and there's a flag in the secondary. Mike Wallace got tied up with Dwayne Grotz. Now let's see if that's where the penalty occurred. And it's going against Jacksonville.
There are 2 fouls on the play, 1 by each team. Holding. Offense, number 64. Holding. Defense, number 27. Was foul set. Replay, 3rd down.
Offsetting penalties, so we'll do it again. Miami penalty on Satelli. The center in his 8th year out of Hawaii. Miami just 1 out of 7 on 3rd downs today. Tannehill 1 out of 4 on 3rd downs. Can he convert this one? 3rd and 7. Steps out of his own end zone, heaves it deep, looking for Wallace, and he makes the catch. Was he in bounds? No! Out of bounds and incomplete. Mike Wallace has been preaching for Miami to get the deep ball more involved in the offense. He got his wish here, but he's ruled out of bounds.
Oh, he got a knee down. That's a foot knee.
Yeah, that's going to be.
And now they've changed it.
And now they're going to give now there's also a penalty flag somewhere out there. Now we've got the officials talking over and giving the holding.
Is that we have a completed catch at the sideline. 1st down, Miami.
The guy right on it. Yeah, the guy right on it waved it off. He was overruled by his fellow official, and rightfully so. This is a catch.
Great catch. A great throw, but an unbelievable catch by Mike Wallace. That knee is definitely in. He's got control of the football. No doubt about it.
Red Bryant is encouraging Gus Bradley to throw the red flag. All the Jaguars are.
Well, it's a mistake. They don't. He did it twice last week, and it was a mistake.
Yep.
Gus is ticked because the first official said he was out, and then they overturned it without going to replay. So he doesn't throw the flag. A 50-yard gain. Longest this season for Mike Wallace. Tannehill looking deep again. End zone, and it's incomplete. He was going for Wallace again. Demetrius McCray on the coverage. And Gus Bradley is still yelling at Jerome Bogart.
Well, Gus Bradley's going to look at the film tomorrow, and he's going to understand, even if it was ruled incomplete, Joe Philbin was going to challenge it, and it would have been ruled a completion because it was clear that it was a catch. It's such an emotional game, and Gus Bradley does a great job of keeping his cool under these conditions, and he's been in it a lot of times over the last 2 years, but right there he's going to realize that he was wrong.
2nd down and 10 from the 42-yard line. Miller with a nice run on 2nd down, and he's brought down a yard shy of a first. Josh Evans makes the tackle.
We got word from Mike Carey, our referee, back in New York who gives us the NFL referee perspective on these things, and he said that one knee definitely equals 2 feet.
Well, good call on the field, which they reverse, and that, again, is what upset Gus Bradley. 3rd down and 1. Miller has the 1st down and more. Lamar Miller inside the 10, and he's dragged down at the 3-yard line. 1st and goal, Miami, after a gain of 31.
Isn't it amazing, Steve, how one play, like that big play out, backed up at their own end, can spark an offense?
And all of a sudden they can run the football. Ryan Tannehill all of a sudden becomes a much better quarterback. Their offensive line becomes better. Everything changes, and I think it deflated the defense of the Jaguars as well.
It took the heart out of them for sure. They got back on their heels a little bit. They're frustrated, and now it's starting to be a momentum swing to Miami Dolphins.
2 straight 3rd down conversions for the Dolphins after they really struggled to start this game. End zone touchdown! Tannehill to Rashard Matthews, the 1st touchdown of the season for Matthews.
Just a quick play fake, gives Matthews a chance to come in, fake like he's going to block and get in on the run play, and then snap off right to the pylon. Watch as he fakes that just the other way and just escapes the formation so fast the Jaguars can't pick him up.
Yeah, you see the play fake, the flow of the Jaguars defense, and Matthews just already outflanked them out there to the flat. Easy throw and catch for the Dolphins.
Just the 5th catch this season for Matthews. The extra point by Sturgis is good. And Matthews now with his 3rd career touchdown. A 95-yard drive by the Dolphins.
Sparked by Mike Wallace right there, the incredible catch. You see Ryan Tannehill, he steps up in the pocket, buys a little extra time. What a great throw, on the move, on the money, down the sideline, and then the presence of Mike Wallace to get that knee down.
Well, and that, not only that, throwing that long pass inbounds so he had a chance to grab it, and then the crossover route right here, the quick release, and that turns into the quick throw for the touchdown. You could tell, and we spoke about it just before the touchdown, that defense of Jacksonville was just deflated that they let the Dolphins off the hook down in their own end.
Well, Mike Wallace said this week that he wanted the Dolphins to take more deep shots, and when the Miami media relayed that message to Joe Philbin, he said, gee, what a surprise. I think Mike Wallace wants to go deep. He got his wish.
And Billy Lazor told us in our meeting yesterday, we talked to him as we look at the graphic there, how many 25-plus yard receptions that Mike Wallace has. He's in pretty elite company there.
But hadn't had too many this year, just 3 coming in.
Right, tied for 32nd in the league. And Billy Lazor told us that there's never a matchup that Mike Wallace thinks he is not going to dominate and win, which is the quality you want to have in your wide receivers for sure.
Yeah, that's going around.
Yeah.
That quality.
And this will be a touchback by Sturgis. Tomorrow on CBS, it's a case so big, these geniuses will need some help. NCIS Los Angeles' Linda Hunt guest stars on a new Scorpion tomorrow at 9/8 Central, only CBS. Week 8 of the NFL on CBS alongside the Steves, Berline, and Tasker, and Mike Carey, our officiating expert back in New York. I'm Andrew Catalan. The 2 Steves looking good. 7-time Pro Bowler Steve Tasker, and Berline went to the Pro Bowl in 1999 with the Carolina Panthers. Actually the first quarterback in Jacksonville history. Finnegan showing blitz, so Bortles calls an audible. Bortles, incomplete, was trying to get it to Robinson. Jacksonville's had a number of drops in this game today.
Yeah, and when you're struggling offensively and you're trying to finish off drive, which has been the key. That was the first drive of the game. It should have been a touchdown. The ball was overthrown, in my opinion, by Blake Bortles, but a lot of other miscues throughout the day, as well as poor decisions by Blake Bortles in different very, very significant situations that have led directly to points for the Dolphins. It's been a long day for them.
The pitch it to Denard Robinson. And he gets away from Finnegan, but he's not as fortunate trying to get away from Vernon.
Yeah, Vernon was really disciplined on this. It looked like, here, watch. Right there, he just doesn't get fooled. And then, of course, you know, this is the NFL. Those guys, they may look big, they can run.
They can run.
And Vernon chased Robinson right to the sideline.
You know what it was too? It was the backside corner, Cortland Finnegan, that stepped up in there too and allowed Vernon to get over there and finish off that play.
Jacksonville's been in 3rd and long the entire day. 3rd and 11 here. It's a screen to Gerhardt, and he's tripped up at the 21-yard line. Jamar Taylor coming up to make that tackle, and a 3 and out by the Jaguars offense.
Well, if you want to really talk about where this game to this point has been won and lost, you got to go back to the very first part of the game. The opportunities the Jaguars had early in this ball game to get points on the board and remain in control. Now you're down 24-6. It's becoming a one-dimensional ball game. The Jacksonville Jaguars are now playing catch-up. They're pressing. The Dolphins are in control, but it's because they did not cash in when they had the opportunity early.
Landry at his own 27. And he's tackled at the 32-yard line. That was Jeremiah George making the special teams tackle, playing in his first NFL game today for Jacksonville.
Yeah, you spoke, Steve, about the way it was in the beginning of this game. Jacksonville absolutely dominated this game, offensively and defensively, and really throughout the first half. And it was the 2 turnovers by Blake Bortles that really kept Jacksonville from controlling this football game. And you can go back also to the blocked field goal and then a missed field goal or made field goal that was called back on a penalty. I mean, they have no one to blame but themselves for not being not only in this game but leading in this game instead of trailing by 18.
42 seconds remain in the 3rd quarter. Miami, with the clock on their side, pitches it to Miller. And that should be the final play of the quarter. Chris Clemens makes the tackle. Ryan Tannehill today is 10 out of 20 for 107 yards and the touchdown. And his defense has been absolutely huge today, picking off Blake Bortles twice, also forcing a Bortles fumble. And it's really the Miami defense that has gotten them out to this 24-6 lead through 3 quarters. A long day for Gus Bradley and the Jaguars. We're through 3. We're back after this on CBS. Start of the 4th quarter in Jacksonville. The Dolphins, trying to get to 4-3 on the season, have a 24-6 lead on Jacksonville, and turnovers the big story. 3 by the Jaguars. It's led to 17 Miami points. 2nd and 10 for Miami to start the 4th. Tannehill goes to the air, and the pass is caught by the backup tight end Deion Sims. His first catch today. Jonathan Cyprien makes the tackle. A gain of 13. Tannehill has now completed 11 passes to 8 different receivers.
Tannehill over the last 3 or 4 weeks has gone through stretches. You look at the Chicago game last week, at one point he started the game 14 straight completions. So he's been streaky, and those streaks are getting longer and more frequent.
Back to the air, and they'll dump it down to Thomas. And he has another Miami first down, forced out by Cyprien.
Well, what we're seeing now out of Ryan Tannehill in this offense is what we saw on film looking at the Bears game last week. You're talking about the 14 in a row to start the game. They're committed to the running game and the play action off of it. The protection's holding up. But what is most important is that Ryan Tannehill is understanding when to take his chances, when not to, going through his progression right there. Everybody flew out for coverage and he took the check down for a nice completion and gain.
Thomas spins away. Daniel Thomas with a 9-yard run, the 4th-year running back out of Kansas State. It'll be 2nd and 1 as we take a look at the standings in the AFC East. Now New England is all over Chicago today. Miami there 3-3.
Buffalo leads the Jets by 10, so those 2 teams in the division are going to sort it out even further. Buffalo trying to hang on, and Miami trying to put their foot on the gas.
Man, Miami already beat New England this year, and they lost to Buffalo in week 2. 13:25 to go. Tannehill wants to go to the air again, taking a shot towards the end zone, and it's incomplete. Mike Wallace, the intended receiver.
Well, we talked, Steve, about how the Dolphins are going to kind of approach the rest of this game. We both thought they'd be a little bit more conservative, but they've come out and said, no, we're going to try and get some more on the board. That was a double move by Mike Wallace. Played pretty darn well there on the outside by Demetrius McCray. Ball just overthrown, and Mike Wallace a little bit frustrated. He'd like to get to that one, but at least it's a good attempt at a big play up the field.
On 3rd and 1, Thomas, and he's got the first down.
Yeah, you talk about these receivers like Mike Wallace, like Brian Hartline. You know, I played receiver during the week, never in games, but during the week I practiced. So, you know, the great receivers, you know, they do complain when they're not getting the ball, and it has more to do with their inability to contribute any other way. I mean, all they can do is help when they can catch the football, and if you're not contributing, it's hard to be happy in your job.
Fake it to Thomas, and the pass is caught by Brandon Gibson, his first catch today. Coming in, Jacksonville with some key injuries, specifically on the defensive side of the ball. A killer last week with Paul Posluszny lost for the year. Branch is out 6 weeks. Ball is week to week. He's a starting cornerback, and Gratz started today, but he was questionable with the hip, so Jacksonville has really been short-handed. And it hasn't really shown, to be honest with you. Their depth has been tested in this game, and their defense has done well. This one is on the offense, and Tannehill keeps it for a Miami first down.
You're 100% right, Andrew. The blame for today falls solely on the shoulders of the offense. The defense has done their job. We're seeing Miami now kind of starting to get a little bit of rhythm going as this game gets more and more out of the Jaguars' control. The frustration is set in on the Jaguars side. You know, you can only try and get yourself pumped up and fired up for so many opportunities defensively, and at some point you got to figure this is a professional team. They're going to get their rhythm. They found it here lately with the Dolphins.
Hey, think about the replacements for those starters. JT Thomas has done a very good job today for Posluszny. Ryan Davis filling in for Branch has 2 sacks, and Gratz has done well in the corner, as Tannehill's pass is caught at the 10-yard line by Mike Wallace.
Well, and you look, this defense of the Jaguars only given up 10 points. I mean, there's 24 points for Miami on the scoreboard. And you see here Tannehill fitting that into Wallace, which is a nice throw and a nice adjustment. But there's only 10 points on the board due to this offense of the Dolphins, and that one came in this second half. That touchdown came in the second half on that last drive. So this defense has played extremely well under duress and very thin at linebacker and particularly cornerback.
Tannehill is 9 out of 13 in the second half for 108 yards and a touchdown. And Clemens just walks offside, pointing to one of the Dolphins. On 2nd and 1, we await the call.
Oh, they're calling it on Clemens.
Encroachment, defense, number 91. 5-yard penalty, still second out.
Well, let's see if anybody moves on the right side of the offensive line for Miami.
Yep.
Yeah, he's right. He's 100%
He's exactly right.
And Gus Bradley let the official know about it. This is as animated as we've seen Bradley.
Yeah, that's an easy call, and that's frustrating when you can see it and you're seeing it better than the official does, and he doesn't call it.
Miami, times of possessions, had the ball more than the Jags here in the second half, and Dolphins now have 1st and goal from the 5-yard line. Tannehill, that pass is deflected and picked off. Intercepted by JT Thomas. Telvin Smith got a hand on it. Thomas with the pick. And you have to question the play call by the Dolphins on 1st and goal, not running the football.
Yeah, I think you do 100% right, Andrew. I think early in the game, the aggressiveness on 1st down, you can justify it 100%. But when you get the momentum going, you've been running the ball well, you're in control of this ball game, you can't take points off the board with something bad happening, a deflected pass, a bad decision by the quarterback. That's what happened there without a doubt.
First career interception for JT Thomas.
Well, I think the officials now are talking to Joe Philbin. There's a question as to whether JT Thomas caught that and started to run out of the end zone and get outside the end zone, and it would become a safety rather than a touchback. But in coming out of the end zone, the ball has to come completely out. The ball has to come all the way out across the line till it's not touching the line, the front part of the line. That never happened. Doesn't matter where his feet are. It matters where the football is.
Right. The foot was on the line, but the ball was in his right arm inside the end zone.
Right now, it's 1st and 10 for the Jaguars at the 20. First and 10 from the 20 for the Jaguars. It is ruled a touchback. 10:16 to go after the 6th interception of the season for Ryan Tannehill. And he leads 24-6, trying to win back-to-back games for the first time this season. Steve, Berlon, and Tasker, I'm Andrew Catalan. We thank you for joining us for Week 8 of the NFL on CBS. Denard Robinson picks up 4 on the play. We go back to New York. Can't wait. JB and Bart Scott.
Defense sparking Baltimore.
Andy Dalton stripped by Haloti Nada. Picked up by Darrell Smith, stumbling, fumbling. He's pushing that X button. He's fighting. He's caught on the 8-yard line. Sets up an 8-yard run by Lorenzo Talon-Farrell. 21-20. Ravens.
Back to Andrew Catalan.
And off the deflection, Marquise Lee makes a catch, JB. How about that? But there is a flag down on the play.
It deflected off Allen Robinson. You can hear the thud all the way up here. I don't know where to hit his foot.
Well, they're calling, I think, the penalty is going to be pass interference, on
Pass interference. Defense, number 22. That penalty is declined. The result of the play is a first down.
That's Jamar Taylor.
He got there just a little bit early. You're going to see he breaks on the ball. He's right here at the bottom. He just breaks on the ball a little bit too early. The contact is before the ball gets there. Right call for sure.
Bortles, pump fakes, now looking deep for Robinson, incomplete. It'll be 2nd down. So now, guys, there's something going on Twitter. This pigeon is trending on Twitter. He's been on the field for this entire half. Earlier we showed you Jackson DeVille, the Jaguars mascot, trying to capture it. The pigeon is too quick.
He's trying to stalk that pigeon for some reason.
Pigeon needs an agent.
He's a cat.
Well, he's flying through our replays. He's doing the pigeon's everywhere.
Let me spell it out for you. Cats chase birds. Did you know that?
I don't know what that cat's going to do with that bird, though.
Robinson. Ball came out late, but they're saying he was down across the 35. It'll be 3rd down.
I'll tell you, with it score in this condition, I mean, you're down by 18 with 9 minutes to go. The day has gone as it's gone. I think it's important to remember. I mean, I think you're calling plays to make your offense better, not only today, but next week as well. You got to get your offense back to it. You got to hand the football off. There are certain teams, they're going to come out and they're going to spread it out and throw it every down. I think Jacksonville's doing themselves a service by not doing that.
3rd and 7, bad snap. Bortles handles it, and he can't get out of trouble. A late flag comes in. Give the sack to Shepard and Fade.
Austin Pastor just absolutely drew Cameron Wake.
Offense, number 67. That penalty is declined. The result of the play, 4th down.
Cameron Wake came right off the edge, and he was going to hit Blake Bortles quick. Right up here, Cameron Wake goes around Pastor. He grabs him and then continues to hold him and just throws him to the ground as Bortles bobbles the snap.
So it's 4th and 12. Anger kicks it away from the pigeon. Landry at the 15. Nice of Anger to keep that one away from our friend who has been out on this field the entire 2nd half. Now he moves a little bit.
Well,
intimidated by the Dolphins. We're back in a minute.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by Nationwide. Nationwide is on your side. Verizon, more live games than ever before with NFL Mobile. And by Chili's. where fresh is happening now.
The Blue Angels are part of the Jacksonville Air Show this weekend. 8:20 to go, fourth quarter. Miami with a 24-6 lead, and Lamar Miller on the carry for the Dolphins as they try to work some clock here and walk away with their second straight win. Miami has not won back-to-back games this year. They've talked about trying to be more consistent, and you look at their last 3 games coming in, they have been. They almost had that game against Green Bay. In fact, they should have had that one. They're playing good football since that 1-2 start. And it throws, and it's caught. This is Landry with nice moves, still going. A first down for Jarvis Landry.
Very nice play by the rookie, who's really starting to look more and more comfortable each and every week. Had 10 catches the previous 2 weeks coming into this game. Right here, nice showing his running ability, making a few guys miss on the outside. He's got 3 catches today, but very elusive, very good with the ball in his hands.
He's replaced Brandon Gibson as the slot wide receiver in this Miami offense. Miller reverses field. Lamar Miller putting the moves on. And another Miami first down. Well, this week, Thursday Night Football moves to NFL Network with an NFC South clash between the Saints and Panthers. Thursday, 8 p.m. Eastern, live on NFL Network. So a first down run by Lamar Miller. Clock continues to tick. 6:35 to go. And Jacksonville with just the 2 field goals today. This Miami defense has forced 3 turnovers and held Jacksonville out of the end zone. And they held a throw on first down, and that is nearly intercepted. And now a flag is down on the field in the secondary.
Looked like Sims stepped out of bounds and came back in.
While the quarterback was still in the pocket before the pass, illegal contact, defense number 31, 5-yard penalty, automatic first down.
Back to New York, JB and Bart Scott.
Seattle trying to pull it out, Bart.
Oh, yeah, Wilson to Wilson. Love that connection. Luke Wilson on the 23-yard reception. Seattle goes up 13-9. 42 seconds left. Clutch.
Back to Andrew, Steve.
All right, guys, thank you. As we just told you, Carolina Thursday Night Football this week against the New Orleans Saints. Motion on the Dolphins.
Offense, number 70. 5-yard penalty, still first down.
It's on the rookie, Juwan James. First round pick out of Tennessee. He's really had a great mentor in Brandon Albert.
Yeah,
Joe Philbin told us that Albert's really done a lot to help James's progression here in this rookie season. Thomas running right. And he's tripped up. Cyprien with another tackle for the Jaguars defensively. Well, guys, we showed you the AFC standings before. Miami on the verge of going to 4-3. Do you think this team can make some noise here as we enter November this next weekend?
You know, I think that they can for sure. They've already beaten New England once this year. You talked about that, and I think every win, in fact, when we talked to all of them yesterday, you got the feeling that the confidence was building inside that locker room, that the coaches and the players really feel like they've got the right kind of momentum going and that they can be a pretty darn good football team.
Tannehill to a wide open Sims. Cuts back, the pigeon flies away. Sims is down to the 10. First down, Miami.
Oh, just a complete bust in the coverage. You're going to see right here the tight end Sims is going to go up and run a corner route, but nobody drops with him into zone coverage. You see the defensive backs get caught up in the underneath coverage. That gives a big hole for Sims to settle into, and nicely done by Ryan Tannehill to find him and put the ball in the money.
Yeah, that's a throw Ryan Tannehill a year, maybe 2 years ago, doesn't make. He doesn't have the patience to stand in the pocket, let it collapse around him, stand in the face of the rush and deliver that ball. Now he does it every series.
On 1st and goal, Thomas is spun back. You know, that's been a major problem for the Jaguars defense this year. Tight ends have had field days against the Jacksonville linebacking core, and another big example there with Sims, the big game.
Well, we talked about it in the open where we thought it would be Clay, not Sims, that would have the big day because of the linebacking problems that the Jaguars face. Paul Posluszny leaving the team with an injury, and J.T. Thomas moving inside. That puts Leroy Reynolds and Dakota Watson into the mix, and all these guys that were not used to communicating with each other into the mix at linebacker.
Chance of let's go Dolphins here in Jacksonville. And it'll be 3rd down and goal for Miami. Coming up after the game, time permitting, the NFL Today update presented by LGG3. Join JB, Tony, Bart, Boomer, and Coach Cower for all the latest NFL scores and highlights. Jacksonville has called a timeout with 4:08 to go. They have 2 timeouts remaining.
The way this game has ended here in the second half, Miami will feel much better about things moving forward. As we spoke about, they'd only scored 10 points as an offense up until this second half, and they didn't look good even in scoring the 10 points until they finally put that long drive together. Now they can lead this game knowing they actually got it together, found their legs, put a couple of nice drives together, made some good throws, and their running game complemented their passing game. So much better here in the second half. But if this game would have ended 7-3 at halftime, Miami might have won the game, but they wouldn't have felt very good about the way they played.
Well, the first half, Miami had 56 yards of offense. In the second half, 237 for the Dolphins. There you see it. So following the timeout by the Jaguars, it's 3rd and goal for the Dolphins. Tannehill, good protection. Throws incomplete. Charles Clay got a little separation at the end of that play, but Tannehill didn't see it in time.
Now, Tannehill's going to want this one back. He saw it, but he got panicked a little bit. You're going to see Clay. It's a great view right here. You're going to see how open Clay is. Tannehill's got to make that throw. He's got a chance to get that throw off. He just overthrew it, panicked a little bit, but that's another learning moment for him. But, we've seen again the Miami Dolphins turn it on in the second half. They've done that a few times this year, and that's going to be the coaching point for Joe Philbin is, hey, if we want to really make a run to this AFC East, we've got to come out ready to play. We can't give a team like Jacksonville the opportunity to run us out of the stadium in the first half.
Caleb Sturgis, 24-yard field goal, and there's a flag down before the kick.
Delay of game, offense, number 9. 5-yard penalty, replay, 4th down.
Well, Sturgis grew up about a half hour from here in St. Augustine, Florida. He was a Jaguars fan growing up and has actually played in this stadium 3 times before. 2 games against Georgia as a member of the Gators, and he also played the Gator Bowl here against Ohio State. So now the 24-yard try becomes a 29-yard field goal attempt. And it hits the upright and goes through. So Sturgis 2 for 2 on the day. 3:54 to go. Miami extends its lead. It's 27-6 over Jacksonville. 3:54 to go, 4th quarter. Miami has a 27-6 lead on Jacksonville. Jordan Todman back deep to receive this kickoff from Sturgis, and Sturgis sends it through the end zone. Jacksonville offense coming back out here late 4th quarter.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by Bud Light, who reminds fans to stay in the game and drink responsibly. And by Subway Restaurants. Subway. Train hard, eat fresh.
Beautiful day in Jacksonville, but it's Miami that's enjoying it more with a 27-6 lead over the Jaguars on first down. Bortles sets up the screen to the tight end Harbor, and he's knocked down close to the 35-yard line. 2 timeouts remaining for Jacksonville, and if nothing else, Bortles trying to get some confidence going into next week's game against the Bengals. Another screen, it's deflected. Todman makes the catch off the deflection, but he picks up only 2 on the play. Chris McCain with the deflection.
And we're going to see the batted ball and screen pass, but that you hit it exactly right, Andrew. The key for Bortles here at this point, and Gus Bradley will emphasize this, is to keep competing. Keep trying to make it happen. Keep learning. Try and find some good things to happen before this game ends, and you can build on that.
That ball is caught, and just maybe a hair short of a first down. Jonathan Freeney makes the tackle.
You can learn a lot of good football in the fourth quarter of some bad football games, and that's what Blake Bortles is facing now. But he's got to stay focused.
Todman picks up the first down across midfield and into Miami territory, 2:40 and counting. Jaguars have not won home games in consecutive weeks since November of 2007. The 18-point win a week ago against the Browns. Not able to follow that up today. Free play, Bortles to a wide open Robinson. Touchdown, Jacksonville. There is a flag down, but it appeared to be against Miami.
Offside. Defense, number 58. That penalty is declined. The result of the play, touchdown.
And you said it on the call, Andrew. This was a free play. Bortles knew it. It was a heads-up play. Took the shot down the field. And, of course, Allen Robinson comes wide open. Steps up in the pocket. He knows he's going to take a home run when he sees the player jump into the neutral zone. And it ends up in the touchdown.
And it was a complete bust in the coverage. You saw Michael Thomas looking as though he was expecting safety help over the top, and it just did not happen. Bortles more than happy to try and take advantage of that, and that's the kind of thing we're talking about, to compete and try and find some positive plays. As long as there's time on the clock, just keep fighting your guts out and see what you can come up with.
Second touchdown for Allen Robinson, the rookie out of Penn State. And the extra point makes it 27-13. Well, on that last drive, you saw the rookie Chris McCain for the Dolphins knock down or deflect a Bortles pass. Check this out. 2 hours before the game, McCain has made this a pregame tradition. He never went to an NFL game as a kid. So now what he does is he tries to make it a special day for some lucky fan each and every week. He comes onto the field and just picks a random fan out of the stands, brings the kid down on the field, walks around with him, had a little race with him down the sideline, and he says he just wants to do it to make it a special memory for a young fan. And you know what? That fan is never going to forget that.
And neither will his parents. How cool is that?
It's a great gesture. So many people have, seen games on television, some of them from the stands. It's a whole different world when you step down on that grass and get a load of how big those guys are and how cool it is to look up at the stadium instead of down at the field.
Undrafted rookie out of Cal. 1 sack on the season, but he's already made memories for a whole bunch of fans this year. All right, so now Jacksonville sets up for an onside kick with 2:19 to go. Josh Scobie. High bounce. Ball is still out. And no signal yet. Can only imagine what's going on at the bottom of the pile right now. And now they're indicating it's Miami football.
Trust me, Andrew, you don't want to know what's going on.
It's everything you imagined it would be.
And worse. It's very traumatic being in those piles.
Another look at this high hop. It was a good onside kick by Scobie.
Perfectly executed. Hartline tries to bat it out of bounds, which is a pretty good play, but it goes back in. Yeah, no question. Right there, you can see the Miami player with the ball underneath the pile. You may start out with it, though. That doesn't mean you're going to end up with it as Thomas comes out with Michael Thomas.
So what's the worst thing that happened to you on the bottom of a pile?
There's some things you just don't talk about, Andrew. You just don't want to get into it. Trust me. But there were several times in the bottom of piles after quarterback sneak where you really wonder if you're going to come out of that pile. Let's put it that way.
Mark Miller on the carry. See if Jacksonville uses their timeouts or not, and they do. They have 1 remaining and the 2-minute warning. Well, let's take a look at the upcoming schedule for the Miami Dolphins, who are about to go to 4-3 on the year, and they've got a big one coming up next week on CBS against the Chargers, who will have a little bit of an extra layoff after their Thursday night loss in Denver a few days back. But they have a tough schedule upcoming, some division games in there against Buffalo and the Jets, so certainly going to be a challenge these final 2 months for Joe Philbin and the Dolphins, but the arrow is pointing up for Miami.
No doubt about it. And if you could ask Joe Philbin how he feels at this point in the season to be coming out and sitting in a good position to make a run the second half of the season, I think he would have taken that with great enthusiasm at the beginning of the year.
It's Miller again, and he gets to midfield, and Gus Bradley lets it go to the 2-minute warning, so he'll have 1 timeout left on the other side of the 2-minute warning. Been a big day for the Dolphins. Tannehill to Matthews for a touchdown, an animated Gus Bradley, and a new star, the Pigeon. 3rd and 11, Tannehill keeps it himself on the read option down the sideline. Ryan Tannehill makes the smart move and goes down. But a first down for Miami, and that could pretty much seal it.
That is as good a play as Tannehill has made all day, and he ends it off with a great decision there to keep the football, get to the sideline, and then another great decision, staying in bounds and just sliding on the turf, avoiding the hit. And that gives them an opportunity to get down close and run this clock out.
Well, how about this? Ryan Tannehill now has a run of 30 yards or more in 3 straight games. The last quarterback to do that, Michael Vick, back in 2004. Jaguars not using that final timeout, and Miami can just run this out now.
Yeah, the Gus Bradley holding out hope that they could get the stop, but on the 3rd and 11, they convert the first down, and that the math is just not there. They can run out the clock.
Don't forget, coming up next on CBS, some of you will see Indianapolis visit Pittsburgh. Others will get to see the Raiders take on the Browns.
Well, we talk about Joe Philbin and what he does and what he takes from this game and how his team is moving in the right direction. If you're Gus Bradley, you sit there and you say, you know what? We have to find a way to find a positive out of this experience. We've got to convince our team that we had this game to win. We're not that far from winning this ball game if we can't take advantage of the opportunity in the first half. They let it slip away. Hopefully they learn from it and take advantage of it next time.
They've proven to themselves that it's in them to get out on these teams and compete, and they had this game in hand in the first half. So if they can muster that up and put that together with another half just like it, the Jacksonville team is going to be right where it wants to be.
They really are not that far off. I mean, they're 1-7 now, but this is a team that's getting close to winning ball games.
Miami wins its 2nd straight, 27-13 over the Jaguars. For Steve Tasker, Steve Berline, our entire crew, this is Andrew Catalon saying so long from Jacksonville. Coming up, the NFL Today Update presented by LGG3. We'll take it to New York for all the scores and highlights after this.